Hi, I'm meteorologist Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. This is a 11 a.m. update based on the 11 a.m. National Hurricane Center update, and we have a hurricane. Hurricane Henri has formed because the Hurricane Hunter aircraft have detected hurricane force winds around the center of the storm, and it looks like it's getting better organized as well. Vertically stacked is what we call it. That means allows thunderstorms to start wrapping around the center of the storm. So it's a hurricane and it's on the move. You can see from the satellite picture, let me widen out a little bit so you can see a little larger picture. This is what's going on with Henri. Here's the center of the storm. This is the main hurricane. There are showers and storms developing ahead of it in outflow from the storm. So these are related to Henri, not part of the main part of the thunderstorm. However, it's going to be saturating the soil as these rain showers move inland. You can kind of look at this as almost an indication of where the storm is going to move as these storms move up towards Long Island. So I'm going to show you a couple of facts here that are happening. Now that we have a hurricane, Henri is the first landfalling hurricane since 1985 in Long Island when we had Hurricane Gloria. There is a chance that Henri will strengthen a little bit more to perhaps 80 or 85 mile per hour winds. There's an outside chance it could reach 90 mile per hour winds as well. And so what we're looking at is a lot of folks in Long Island and in New England don't have experience with landfalling hurricanes. When that happened, power was out in many areas for 2 weeks or more. So what I want to do is show you GeoCollaborate and what's happening with the storm. Here is the forecast for Henri as it moves forward. Right now, it's forecast to have 80 mile per hour winds, 85 mile per hour winds or so in this area during the evening tonight, overnight into Sunday morning. But when the storm gets into this area, tropical storm force winds are already going to be felt along Long Island. So you really only have today to prepare. Tonight, maybe 10, 11 o'clock, tropical storm force winds will already be occurring in Long Island. And so that's why I've highlighted this area in red. This is from the Weather Prediction Center, part of NOAA. They're highlighting this area because there is a very high likelihood of flash flooding in this entire area as Henri moves inland. What that means is Henri is bringing a lot of tropical moisture with it. The raindrops are larger. The rain is more intense. So there is a chance you could see rainfall totals of 1 to 3 inches per hour for a period of time, which the ground cannot handle. It's already totally saturated. So that's the way it looks from a perspective of potential flooding in this area. The cone of uncertainty is getting a little bit narrower because the time is getting closer for landfall. And I'm going to dive in here just a little bit more to show you where that landfall is expected. Now, you don't need to follow the center line of the National Hurricane Center's forecast. And the cone is not a damage path. There's going to be many more impacts outside of the cone, like flash flooding. Notice, and I'm going to turn off the area of flooding that's expected during the day on Sunday. Notice the watches, warnings, and advisories that are in effect. These areas of green, which covers northern Delaware, many parts of New Jersey, actually all of New Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania, may be extended to the north and east of northeast part of Pennsylvania, including Scranton a little bit later, but parts of New York here, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, all of Connecticut, certainly all of Long Island. Flash flood and flood watches have been posted. That means you can expect to get heavy rain and likelihood of flooding. That's when the Weather Service will issue flood warnings or flash flood warnings. If you live in a location that you think is going to flood because you might get 2, 3, 4, 5, even 8 inches of rain, think about getting out today and going to a friend's house, go to a neighbor up the street if they're at a higher elevation. See if you can get out of that area, because when the storm is raging, emergency workers will not come out and rescue you. Utility companies are staging outside of the expected damage area so they can get in and start restoring power quickly, but there are going to be a lot of power outages because of this storm. And it's expected Some estimates are 49 to 50% of utility companies may be out of power for up to 10 days. That was an estimate from one of the officials in Connecticut. So this is what the forecast looks like. Hurricane warnings continue along Long Island. We have tropical storm warnings in effect that include the harbor into New York City. And the storm is going to increase in intensity at least a little bit because it's starting to get more organized. We can see from satellite imagery and from the planes that are flying into the storm. We'll keep you posted. I just want to talk about quick impacts for each state. So we're talking about Pennsylvania, flooding in northeastern Pennsylvania and the eastern part of the state. That is definitely possible. In New Jersey, we're talking about storm surges along the coastline, heavy rain and flooding as well. In New York, significant impacts on Long Island and also up through New York City with potential flooding from storm surge and also from heavy rain. So if you have to go out and get supplies today, please do it. Get an extra bag of ice so you have that in your freezer in case you lose power and you need some ice. Also in Connecticut and Massachusetts, significant wind and flooding damage, particularly in Connecticut. Your soil is already saturated, so expect rapid flooding as soon as the heavy rains form. And then also in New Hampshire, Maine, and Vermont, expect heavy rain and wind damage, particularly in the southern portions of New Hampshire and Vermont, and then most of Massachusetts as Henri starts to turn. And that will happen during the day Sunday or the night Sunday into Monday. So don't let your guard down. It looks like we're going to have widespread impacts throughout southern New England. Keep tuned to your local broadcast meteorologist and the National Weather Service. The National Hurricane Center will be issuing another update. That will be today at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And it looks like we're in for quite a ride here in the northeast part of the country with Henri having its eyes on Long Island. We'll keep you posted. This has been a 11 a.m. update from the National Hurricane Center's data for the Fleet Response Working Group and the All Hazards Consortium. It's been a sensitive information sharing environment video update. I'm Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. Please work on your plan today. Make things happen because tonight it's going to be too late as the storm moves in, and tomorrow is just going to be a nasty day. Lots of power outages are likely. We'll keep updating you from here. Thanks for watching.